at your feet. I wait patiently for you. Oh, I will forever and always put you before me till the end of time. But until then, till my last breath rolls in, oh, I am yours, and you are mine. My heart beats for you alone. Now hours can hold the love that we own. Every time you fall from grace to your knees.
Hi, welcome to Where RV USA. I'm Russ Hicks.
I'm Val Hicks.
This is a channel dedicated to giving you an off-the-beaten-path look at America. Today, we're going to look at a balloon festival.
We are in the Crown of Maine, which is about 15 miles from the border of Canada, in a town called Presque Isle. And they have this awesome balloon festival that's been going on for, I think, about 40 years.
So we're going to take a look at it and see if they can do it.
See you soon. We are at Crown of Maine Balloon Fest headquarters here with co-coordinator.
Yeah.
Yes? Jordan Madore?
Yes. Hi.
How are you?
Good,
Tell us
how are
how
you?
this works and how many people it takes to pull this balloon fest off.
Including the people who actually put up the balloons and take them down, probably well over 100 volunteers.
Awesome. And this isn't a huge place. Presque Isle is a town of about how many people?
9,500 people. Yep.
Awesome. So tell us about the balloons.
So we've got 14 balloons this year. Most of our pilots are from the East Coast, traveling from Maine to Florida. But we also have a pilot coming this year from the UK.
Awesome. So how many years has this been going on? How did it get started?
This is our 16th annual festival, but it actually started as Isle Fest in Presque Isle with just a couple of balloons. And since then it's grown year after year. We've changed the name, changed the logo, and made it a whole new event.
Well, we're looking forward to it, and thank you, Jordan, for giving us the inside track.
Yes, absolutely. See you there.
All right, see you there.
Awesome.
Hosting of the college.
As Floyd mentioned, we just want to thank you all for coming out here tonight. Thank you to all of our sponsors who have made this event possible. We do work really hard to keep this festival free every year for all of you to come and enjoy. And it's thanks to all of our sponsors that we're able to do that. It's our 2018 Pilot of the Year. So I'd like to introduce you all to Derek Smith, who's going to be telling us a little bit more about balloons.
We put hot air into a big fabric bag and it makes us go up. We let the air out, we go down. That's as simple as we can be right now. We got some stuff to do. I will tell you a brief history on this festival. Back in 2004, 3 intrepid pilots, one from Ontario, one from New Brunswick. Where are you, Jim? Wave. There's Jim. And a local pilot, Dina Winslow, took off from this very field during something called Isle Fest. Anybody remember Isle Fest? Yeah, that's the reason we don't have it anymore. 2, 1.
Why did anybody leave so quickly for Ophelia? Where have you gone?
I will forever and always put you before me to the end of time.
My name is Wendell Purvis. I'm from Tallahassee, Florida. Love being in Presque Isle, Maine. It's a great place.
My name is Bud Heberly. I'm from the Villages, Florida, but we have a home in Maine. We spend our summers here, our winters there.
Okay. All right, so how long have you two been flying?
Over 30 years. My favorite memory, the experience of starting out with a little help in dealing with the balloon and winding up with family after family after family.
How about you?
Well, let me see here. In June, I celebrated my 45th year as a pilot.
Awesome.
It's always been my passion. It has not been my livelihood. I have flown in Canada, in Mexico,
Oh my goodness.
Colorado, Wyoming, all over the West because we lived in Albuquerque 36 years, and this year I'm happy to say I'll be flying in my 24th Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta in October. Some of the most memorable things that I have done with our hot air balloon was travel to different cities in different states, special education, or challenged, or even young children from 7 to 17 with cancer. We share our love and our sport with them. And it is such a joy to those people for us to share, number one, our enthusiasm. We inflate the balloon. They get to touch the fabric. I give them cards, and occasionally maybe one of them will walk up and say, well, Mr. Bud, little David's a little too sick. Could I take his card to him, sir? And what pleases my heart is when you meet people like a doctor, and he'll say to us, you, sir, do not know what this means to these young children.
And how long have you been coming to the Crown of Maine Balloon Fest?
This is 10 or 11. We can't keep up with it. You guys are so friendly up here. Time just passes by.
All right, Randy, tell me how you first got started with balloon flying.
Well, back many years ago when the wife and I got married, you know, it was before the bucket list thing. And it was things you wanted to do before you died. And riding in a hot air balloon just happened to be one of them. And I had the opportunity to ride in one and crew with one. And from there it became a passion. And about 20 years ago we started flying, and it's been floating in the air across the country ever since.
Put this idea yourself? Did somebody, you know, design your balloon?
Sponsored by the United States of America. But originally when I put it together, my brother-in-law ran for Congress. Why don't we put a balloon together? It's got the Constitution.
So did it draw attention to your balloon though? People wanted to see it around the country and that
It did.
kind of
The
thing?
balloon has really been a really good hit, especially with the servicemen and women in Presque Isle. If I ever were to want to be a northerner, I'd end up here. This place is just so, the scenery around here, the flying around here, and the people around here are just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, we've found. All right, I am here with the piloting team of Celtic Magic.
That's right.
And where are you guys from? And introduce yourselves.
I'm Bob Martell from Sterling, Massachusetts.
Okay.
And I'm Lori Braverman, also newly to Sterling, Massachusetts. I was a photojournalist, and they decided to have the first hot air balloon festival down at the Lewiston Auburn location.
In Maine.
And the Sun Journal, which I was working for at the time, said, hey, do you want to go out and shoot that? And I said, sure, I'll go and shoot it. I've never been up close to a balloon before. And this particular festival is unique because it's right on the water. There's a river right there. So I was watching balloons come off the field, go into the water. They were doing something called a splash and dash, and then coming off and flying away. And I just thought it was,
Just picture a floating experience like nothing you've ever experienced. It's just magical.
Okay, Introduce yourself.
Oh, I can speak now?
You can speak now.
My name is Kenny Shoemake from Orlando, Florida. And down there, and I helped a couple of guys inflate. I mean, I've never seen one, I can't spell balloon. And I helped a couple of guys launch, and you know, and you look at this stuff and wow, it's kind of cool. And a guy comes, hey, would you like to go for a ride? Shoot, yeah. So I got up there, and he went from 0 to 2,800 feet. I'm going, wow.
Oh my goodness.
I was scared, poopless.
You don't have any fear of flights at that, or heights at that time, or did you?
I
have
did.
a concern?
I was holding on, baby, please let me live through this. So we come down the land, and he actually hit a tall bay tree, and he hit this tree, and we kind of tipped over, and the balloon in the basket went whoosh, like this one. Whoa! And this was on a 6-lane highway.
Oh my goodness.
And on one of the busiest east-west roads, Highway 50. And here's sand trucks, you know. So he says, we missed our first landing spot. I went, that was a landing spot. And so from that point on, it didn't.
And we are interviewing a special pilot of this event. This is Jim Rogers, and he is the only pilot here that has flown in this event since the very first year it happened.
It was from up here, and we had another local friend up here from Caribou. I used to come up here and do some winter flying with him. And unbelievably beautiful. It is beautiful up here.
And I have one of our international pilots here with me. This is John Viner from the UK. Tell you there, John, tell us a little bit.
What you have here, which is great for balloons, is you have space. And everything's spread out, everyone's so friendly, and they really have looked after us so well. So hopefully they'll ask us back.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. So tell us where you're actually from.
I'm from, I've grown up in South London, south of England. I now live up in the Midlands in Nottinghamshire. So originally I was born in New Zealand.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. So I was about 4 when I left there, so don't have a lot of memories.
And we are continuing our pilot interrogation. And this pilot is Marion, and she's from Florida. She's going to tell us all about her history of flying.
It's Marion Deeney. I'm from Tallahassee, Florida. I've started out in ballooning about 1981 as a ground chase crew member. And then after I got out of school, I got my license about 1993, and I've been a pilot ever since. Very interesting landings in yards. The families come running out, the kids come running out. We bring the whole neighborhood over if we're able to. We give them little tether flights in the yards or in the driveways or something like that. So everybody, it seems to be a great community event. Everybody brings everybody together when we land.
We have our 2018 Balloon Pilot of the Year here. Derek, tell us your name and how you got started and why this balloon festival happened.
Oh, that's a big story. All right, so Derek Smith, live right here in Presque Isle, Maine. Back in 2004, I joined our local Chamber of Commerce board, and they one day they said, "Okay, we got balloons coming for Isle Fest, which was the festival at the time, and we need volunteers. Go here at this time, bring gloves. They'll tell you what to do." That was it. It's the only instructions I got. I'm like, balloons, aviation. My father is a fixed wing pilot. So I figured he'd enjoy it, and he's also good about volunteering. So we show up, and we meet this guy named Wild Bill Whalen out of Ontario, and he gives me instructions, says hold this rope. I've since learned that the job of crown line is affectionately called dope on a rope, so apparently I was the dope on the rope. And then, of course, my dad, being a pilots, it doesn't really matter what they fly, they get together, they're going to talk about flying. So they were up at the other end, as you've now seen how this goes. I'm all 60 feet that way, and they're down at the other end talking. So balloon gets hot, they get it up, and I'm out there holding the rope, and I hear, "Hey, do you want to go for a ride?" I did not fond of heights at the time, still not entirely keen on them, and I'm like, "No, I'm good." And my dad says, "Get in the basket." "No, I'm good. Get in the basket." So, respecting my elders, that's exactly what I did. And
yes, you're an adult at this point.
I am an adult with 2 children. Yes.
Yes, Dad.
Yes, Dad. Well, that's how it is. And of course, he went with us, so I wasn't in it alone. 45 minutes later, we landed and we had our ceremony, and it was amazing. I was pretty hooked. At the time, we had an organization that had been promoting Azusa County as the Crown of Maine, because we're going to sit up here on the top.
So the name was already there.
So we had Crown of Maine, so I reached out to them and said, "Would you mind if we use that Crown of Maine?" as the Crown of Maine Balloon Fest, and they thought that was a great idea. And so that was 2006, and here we are in 2019, and it's still rolling, and this has probably been one of our best years yet. The committee this year has done an amazing job. And of course, our pilots come from all over the world, make it special. But there's also just something about this community that makes those pilots want to come back. People in the community. Once people see this area,
they want to come back.
They want to come back. There's something special here.
Put you before me